Good morning, everybody. Today, we are going to talk about our Education Wednesday. So each week we do a live feature of things going on in the market and doing educational series to help buyers and sellers understand the current conditions in the market. So this Wednesday, what I wanted to talk about is what is going on when you build a new construction home. So we see a lot of buyers going in and buying new construction homes. So I wanted to dispel some myths that are in the process, let you see what the current trends are like in today's market, and just understand how to get through the process. So the first common myth that I want to tell people is, if I don't use a realtor, the builder is going to give me 3% off the price. That's not happening in today's market. It hasn't happened for quite some time. We're probably never going to see that again. The builders set the real estate commissions already in their purchase price. So when you're buying the house, it's already built in for you to have a real estate agent. The reason they do that is the builders like real estate agents that can help through the process so you understand what's going on in the process and can help you through it. So most builders encourage real estate agents to come. So if you're thinking that you're just going to go directly to a builder and buy the house without a real estate agent and get a lower price, that's just not going to happen. You really should have a real estate agent representing your interest in the sale. What happens is when you walk into the builder's office, you're talking to the sales rep. The sales rep is there to represent the builder. They don't represent you in your interest. So without a realtor, you're going to miss some of the steps in the process, which could really hurt the house down the road, and make sure that you don't get the, and if using a realtor will help you get the best value in buying that house. So I always recommend you go to a builder with your real estate agent. Your real estate agent should accompany you to the builder. The reason for that is if we don't go with you on your first meeting with the builder, there's a chance that the builder may not allow you to continue to work with that realtor. So make sure you take your realtor with you. Here's the top reasons why you should use a realtor when building a new construction house. First, the inventory on new construction is not always listed online. So working with a realtor helps you find the right inventory out there for what you're looking for. Second, in today's market, there's a ton of people on the wait list. And without following the proper steps to get on the wait list, and without having a real estate agent that's going to continue to help you through that process, you may not get off of the wait list anytime soon. A lot of things go into being on the wait list, especially what house you're picking, where in the neighborhood you want to be, the phase they're on. So work with the realtor so we can help you get off of that waiting list faster. Also, there's a lot of things to consider when going through the build job. So letting an agent represent you really helps you get through the deal. So let's talk about what happens when you buy a new construction house. So when you buy a new construction house, you're going to go to the sales office. You're actually going to sign a builder's contract to purchase the house. You're not going to use the standard real estate forms. Reason for that is the builders have lawyers write their own contracts, and they require all purchasers to use the builder's contract. The builder's contract does really sway to the benefit of the builder and not the purchaser. So it's important that you review that contract. There's things to look for in the contract. A lot of builders in today's market can change the price on you in the middle of the build job. So you want to make sure you're going with a builder that's not going to raise the price $10, $20, $30, $40,000 on you in the middle of the build job. You also want to work with a real estate agent so you can focus on your financing and making sure your financing is in line. A lot of times, your build job will take 30, 60, 90 days to complete. During that time, you're going to have to re-up your pre-approval, make sure you lock in interest rates at the right time, especially with the way interest rates are going up. So it's important to watch those dates. Also, you want to understand what your builder's contract does for completion date. Do they have any penalties if they don't complete it on time? Most don't, but it's something you want to be aware of. So once you sign the contract, you're going to put down earnest money to purchase that house. Now, in previous years, what you would do is you would go pick out your lot, construction would start, it would take about 6 months, and your house would be complete. With the way that prices are going up now for new construction houses, what's really happening is builders are not allowing you to purchase houses until they're already spec'd out and start the build job. What this means is you very rarely can change things inside the home because the builders already picked theirs out to make sure that they don't have high material costs go up in the material of the build job. So if you do want to change little things in the house, there are strategies you can do to work with the builder and try to change those if you get them in on the right time. So you're going to start the process once the house is already framed. What that means is the foundation's down, there's boards up, they've already started ordering the interior finishes. From that point, it's about 4 to 6 months. We're saying 4 to 6 months because it is taking some extended time to get these materials in, and labor shortages is causing some problems and delays with construction. As your house is being built, we encourage you to go look at your house on a weekly basis and see what the builder's doing. Make sure you look at the inside of the house because it's really good to understand where things are inside the house in case down the road you decide you need to open a wall up or something. It's really good to watch that process happen. As you get closer, you're going to start doing pre-walk inspections, depending on what phase you brought the house in. If we're studded, most likely you're going to do a pre-drywall meeting. That pre-drywall meeting is where they'll look and make sure the electrical outlets are in the right place. Everything that you wanted in the house is in there. Generally, if you're doing a pre-drywall inspection, there are some things you can change in the house. And it really kind of just solidifies the build job before they drywall it. Once they drywall it, a lot of those changes can't be made. So the pre-drywall inspection is imperative that you do to make sure that it's good. Unfortunately, in today's market, most people are going to be buying a house after the drywall is done. So you're really, your inspections are going to be, you're going to meet with the builder initially. He's going to explain the process and the timeline. And then you're probably not going to meet with the builder again until about 10 to 20 days before closing, where you're going to do the pre-walkthrough and inspections and make sure everything's done in the house ready for signing. Also, one of the things to keep in mind when you are going through a new builder, most builders use their own lender or their own mortgage or their lender and title company. Make sure you're understanding what you're getting out of that, and make sure you compare that to other lenders. The reason for that is what you'll find is builders will give you a 2 to 3% benefit for using the lender, but then charge you an origination fee. So you want to make sure you understand what that origination fee is, what their fees are, and make sure that you're not paying higher interest rates. Sometimes it is better to go with the personal lender and not the builder's lender. Other times it's better to go with the builder's lender and not the your personal lender. So it's really imperative that you're looking at all of that. I like to sit down with my clients and show them both loan estimates from both and make the best decision of which way to go. Now, at some point, you're going to want to do an inspection. Builders are going to tell you that you don't need a personal inspection because most of them hire a third-party inspector now. The best advice I can give you is always get your own personal independent inspector. That's going to happen about 10 to 20 days before closing. You're going to pay for the inspector. The inspector is going to go out, tell you anything wrong with the house. At the same time, the builder's doing their third-party inspection, and then you're going to do a walkthrough to just go through and tape and make sure everything's good and catch any nicks in the paint and see what needs to happen. So this is what we call the blue tape phase. You're going to take a roll of blue tape, go into the house and blue tape anything that's chipped on the paint, not painted correctly, faded. So all of that can be fixed before closing. Now, a lot of people think that it's not important to have a home inspection because it's a new build and it's under warranty. Let me just tell you, one of my last few new construction houses that I've sold, during our independent inspection, we found out that the builder forgot to put a whole row of insulation in the attic. That was caught during a thermal inspection by our independent inspector. We were able to get that fixed before closing. That's something that may have never been discovered and would have caused your electric bills to go up. So it's always great that you have that independent inspector. We can help you with that process of getting an independent inspector and making sure the independent inspector is scheduled to go through before closing. Inspections are about $300 to $500. It's great. I will tell you that we very rarely see problems on new construction, but when we do, it's good to know that you did have that inspection done and that house is built correctly. It's also imperative that 11 months after you buy the house, you do an 11th month inspection. The reason for that is your what we call bumper to bumper warranty, or your full system warranty, is only good for the first year of the house. So at the 11 months, you want the inspector to come out and find anything that's wrong with the house, so you can put in warranty requests before that 1 year mark. That way everything will be covered under warranty. Then, once you get through that process, you're going to start scheduling closing. And it's really important that you're watching the mortgage process and the title process to make sure everything's being scheduled correctly. There are steps along the way that you have to comply with the mortgage to be able to close on time. Likewise, there's things that the title company has to do to make sure closing happens on time. So when you use a realtor, we make sure all of that stuff's done for you so that you're not worried about the process and not having to manage it yourself. But you have to make sure your loan estimate's signed. Your loan estimate has to be signed 3 days before closing. If it's not, your closing is going to be delayed. If you got to make sure the title order the HOA docs and that you've had a chance to review the HOA docs. You got to make sure title commitment's done. Title commitments where they say who owns the house and make sure that they can properly transfer title to you. So you've got to do a lot of those things up front to get through the process. Then from there, you're going to go to closing. Once you close, you generally don't fund for an hour or two after closing. So just keep in mind, don't schedule the moving truck to be there right at closing. You can't take possession of the house until after it funds. You'll get a notice of funding from the title company or your realtor, and then that's when you can go to the sales office, pick up your keys. If you have a realtor, most of the time we'll go pick up the keys for you and meet you at the house. So it just all depends on how that process works for you. But building a new construction job is awesome. Just remember, in today's market, it's really difficult. You can't really negotiate the price of the house. You also aren't going to be able to negotiate a lot of changes to the house. Some of the changes I've been able to negotiate, we've changed floor types right before closing. We've been able to change paint colors right before they started painting. Some of those things the builder can still let you do, but those are very rare situations. You're not going to be able to make structural changes to the house. Also, keep in mind that a lot of builders in today's market, because it is so high, is changing the price $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. So you want to make sure you have somebody fighting on your behalf to try to keep that from happening, or at least can help advise you of what to do in those situations and make sure that you have the right mortgage amount to handle any increases that happen if you're okay with the increases. You're also going to have to worry about appraisals. Appraisal happens about 2 weeks before the house is completed. And during the appraisal, because new construction prices are going up so high right now, we are seeing some cases where appraisals are coming in slightly lower than what the price of the house is, especially if you're in a brand new phase and you're one of the first few houses to close in that neighborhood. So you really want to be working with somebody that can fight on your behalf to make sure that appraisal is getting all of the information they need to make the appropriate decision on value of the house. So that's really the process of building a house. Building a house is great. You get to watch it get put up. You generally have brand new appliances, brand new heating and air, HVAC units. So you have about 10 years before you really have to do hardcore maintenance on your house. I will tell you that everybody who thinks they're going to get a perfect house, no house is perfect. There are still issues that come up during the build job. So it's great that you get that inspection, make sure that stuff's done. Things will go wrong. That's where you want somebody that's going to fight to make sure that when things go wrong, it's a smooth fix for you and you're not the one having to deal with that. So just expect that things will go wrong during the build job. Windows do get broken during your build job. Tile gets cracked. Countertops get messed up. It happens. That's where we come in and try to help negotiate on your behalf to get that fixed for you. So that's the process of building a new house. I hope you find this video very educational. Later today on my personal page, I will be posting the link to Facebook so you can subscribe to my Facebook page. And keep in mind that every Wednesday I do an educational series. Every Sunday I do a market update for you. And every Friday I do my favorite listing. So stay tuned for this Friday for the favorite listing. I think it's going to be a new build. I haven't decided yet. Still working on that. And make sure you follow me on Facebook and on YouTube so you can watch all of my videos. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a great day.